Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time on JoJo, we had the Warrior of Wind, where we concluded the fight with Wamu, because JoJo still had a few tricks up his sleeve and he was able to beat him, and he gave him an honorable death by also easing his pain as he died. And then it was time for Lisa versus Cars. However, Cars is a son of a bitch and was like, I'm not going to fight you actually one-on-one. Tricked her, stabbed her, hung her up by a rope. JoJo was about to die, but luckily the Nazis and the Speedwagon Foundation came to save the day. And they did. They held off the vampires while JoJo went to face Cars. And now he has to fight Cars while also trying to, hold Lisa from, falling to the ground and dying. Also, it was finally revealed that, yes, Lisa is JoJo's mother. So, isn't that pretty crazy? And yeah, that's pretty much it. We are down to the final 3 episodes of Part 2. Isn't that crazy, man? So, yeah, we are going to have to figure out what's going on here. This is where I say no spoilers in the comments. And with that being said, we might as well get right into this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go.
He doesn't know the woman he's trying to save is his mother.
This music. The final battle begins now. Shit, he's bleeding though.
It's a forest of crystal spikes down there.
God.
She would die
God.
horribly.
That's even worse.
You have lived for as long as you're holding onto that rope, my friend. That's about all you can do.
You're gonna have to get clever, man. Oh, God.
Mr. Speedwagon, we need to tell JoJo.
Not yet.
But why not?
I don't know if that would do anything.
Not the proper time.
Von Stroheim, have you finished disposing of those vampires yet? We must help JoJo.
Yeah, right.
There's still a lot. I'm trying something.
As long as you're holding on so tightly to that rope, your clumsy feet have limited reach.
Ow!
Enough Hamon for one last desperate attack. To be honest, even I don't know. But either way, I've devised a cunning plan.
Oh, God.
I guarantee it's... What do you think I'm going to be doing with this fire?
His
What
own
on
scarf?
earth does JoJo think? Something to motivate me. A little pain to help me find a way.
Here he comes.
You fool!
JoJo!
Lisa!
Idiot. 2 birds with 1 cut.
Don't count him out.
But he...
Ooh.
This rope, it's connected to JoJo.
Oh. He tied them to him.
When did he make this happen? He didn't have enough time to... When he first kicked at me, that manipulating cheat.
Now you're
Oh,
the one
he's the
saving
cheat?
both me and Lisa!
You deceived me, JoJo!
How odd that I should hear you complaining about trickery!
You're right.
You enjoy deceiving others, but...
He broke it. Oh, and you broke his arm.
It was enough!
Oh, yes! He
So
did it! He hit Cars with his Hamon!
The Hamon should be in him now.
Off you go!
Now you get impaled. How's it feel, dickwad?
Cars fell right onto his own crystal spikes.
Light him up.
See? The Hamon will travel right up his arm onto the job.
Light him up, guys. Help out.
Time on Earth is up. A mere human could finish you off now.
Do it. Turn on your friggin' lights. He'll burn. Well, he got off.
Trying to spook us, eh? Bring out the ultraviolet amplifier!
Oh, good. Got her out of there.
He wasn't actually planning to kill you with his blade, so I don't think that your wounds are fatal.
You gotta trust him, though? Damn, she's pale.
Why'd she tell him that his mother had died when he was a little boy? Why does Lisa hide her past and not tell him who she really is?
Smokey, that's,
I know Granny
It
Arena
is a good
told me not
question.
to ask you, but I've gotta figure this out. I mean, she is his mother.
It's driving me crazy.
Information from him is
Driving
just
me crazy, too.
Her real given name is Elizabeth. Raised and trained by the hormone user Straitso you met. She and Irina's son, George Joestar, fell in love.
Aw,
They got
he
married.
really looks like Jonathan. Aw, George. Wasn't that Jonathan's father's name?
Soon, JoJo's father, George, enlisted as a member of Britain's Royal Flying Corps. Aviation developed rapidly during the First World War.
He didn't have any hormone.
And George was
said
among
that.
the brave pilots to fly into battle in the skies. It was then that a gut-wrenching horror from the past came back to haunt the members of the Joestar family. 50 years
What?
earlier, Dio Brando created blood-sucking zombies.
Fucking Dio.
Straitso, myself, and the others believed that we had exterminated them.
Right.
One of them had escaped.
Oh, no.
He hid himself within society, and by some wretched, wicked twist of fate, he had placed himself in position as a commander in the Royal Flying Corps.
Oh, God.
Royal Flying Corps?
He had listened well to Straitso and myself, but ultimately, George was only an ordinary man.
He didn't have
He had
hormone.
character and talent,
But
but he
Elizabeth
had no
did.
training in the ways of Harmon.
No.
Before he was able to unmask the commander, he was discovered by his monstrous quarry. His message to Straitso was too late.
No!
Elizabeth held an infant JoJo, as I told her what we had discovered.
Still kind
Instead
of the same
of
hair.
showing grief, she ran out, intent on bloody revenge.
Ugh. It's also very Joestar of her. She's not even a Joestar, technically. Ugh.
She was careless. There was a witness to the commander's death.
Ah, shit.
Elizabeth had attacked their beloved commander, killed him, then burned his body to hide the crime. Word
so she had
spread
to,
as only bad news can.
she had to
And
leave.
soon, she was known around the world as a murderer,
Jeez.
and traitor to the war effort.
The entire world.
We used all the resources of the Speedwagon Foundation to cover her trail. Elizabeth had to leave England behind, without even a word of goodbye to her son.
Please tell him they both died in the war.
Man.
This child. Poor little child.
And so it was that Elizabeth became Lisa.
Damn.
Irina lost her husband and her son in the battle between Harmon and the Stone Masks.
Yeah.
But thinking of her grandson, her Joseph, her JoJo, she didn't want Harmon to create yet another hole in her life. Lisa feels the same.
Aw, damn.
But still, it's not my decision to make. It's a question of how Irina and Lisa feel.
I guess.
Major! We're ready to fire, sir!
Can you not just use your lights?
Everyone focus on him! And now
Cars
we
is
will
gonna
share
get
the
fu-
honor of
Cars is gonna get up. This isn't over. Ah!
No, damn it! Stop now! Don't fire the UV!
Oh no! Oh, great. Oh, sunlight gets into the stone. Motherfucker still had it, I forgot.
I didn't know sure that he had it anywhere near him. I didn't see him put in the red stone.
It was in his ass.
Can't be. Dear God. God.
Then he can't be affected by hormone. Oh! Of course. Because there's 2 more episodes, so of course this happened. I didn't know if it was going to be exactly that, but, Alrighty. Yeah, there had to be something. There had to be some. I figured he was just gonna, get up and, start whooping ass before, they turned it on. But no, I should have remembered. He had a mask. He had the Red Stone of Asia. And because of that, the UV light has created, it activated the stone mask with the red stone in it, meaning Kars has now become immune to sunlight. He has succeeded in his ultimate goal, meaning even hormone won't affect him. Hormone that Joseph barely had anyway. JoJo barely had any hormone anyway. And now, how do you beat him now? Hormone is the one weakness that can completely destroy a vampire or a pillarman, and now that weakness is gone. They are really pulling out all the stops here. Pulling out all the stops. How on earth can they beat him now? So I guess if they hadn't used those lights, the hormone would have just killed him, The hormone would have just killed him, and that would be it. But no, von Stroheim, I don't blame von Stroheim, but they had to do that, huh? Oh my gosh. Oh my god. So yeah, that happened. And we have the origins, the complete origins of Lisa, otherwise known as Elizabeth Joestar. I mean, yeah, Joestar. Because, I mean, Irina took the name too, so. Man. Poor George. Poor George. The guy, he didn't inherit any hormone from Jonathan, And to have him die like that when his son was an infant. I have to say, I do really like that George Joestar, he does look a lot like Jonathan. Like, that was honestly something really nice, Because Joseph kind of looks like, Jonathan. You could at least say, like, well, yeah, obviously, like, you can look at him and be like, well, yeah, he is descended from Jonathan, but George really looked like Jonathan, and honestly, I was really happy about that. Like, it made that, like, all the more sweet and sad at the same time, It's almost like that much more tragic because of, because he died that way. He died young, like Jonathan did. Which, honestly, yeah, it makes sense when Irina, Irina doesn't want Joseph to know this stuff, while there's this great danger. But Well, okay, it's interesting because now I don't know how much Irina knew. How much does Irina know about what's going on here? You know? Did she know about Straight-So? You know, the most we got earlier on in part 2 was, you know, it was more that, you know, that Irina knew about JoJo's temper, you know, but I don't know, it's like you almost wonder, like, did she know that Joseph was a prodigy when it came to Hamon? Like, you know, where George had nothing. Literally nothing. Joseph naturally could use Hamon. In the same way that Caesar could naturally use Hamon. So, you have to wonder, like, did Irina know that? Because I get it, you know. She lost her husband because of Hamon and vampires. She lost her son because of this. Honestly, she lost her daughter-in-law because of this. And she didn't want to lose her grandson. She didn't want to lose Joseph. But, if anything, Joseph is in there more than any of them, you know? Joseph is in there more than anyone other than Jonathan, honestly. Because Jonathan... And granted, Jonathan didn't do, you know, a whole hell of a lot. Like, he didn't, spend a lot of time with Hamon, you know? For Jonathan, we could honestly say, you know, he learned Hamon about a month before he died, you know? And for Joseph had it his whole life, which honestly makes sense because, you know, being the son of Elizabeth, who did train in Hamon all her life, you know, from Straight-So, it made sense that natural, you know, a life's worth of Hamon training naturally passed on to Joseph, you know? Whereas Jonathan, who, we gotta be honest, had maybe a month of using Hamon, it didn't naturally pass on to George. So that's, you know, that's why, obviously, Joseph was a prodigy when it comes to Hamon, is because, yeah, he inherited all of that from his mother, from Elizabeth. But it does make you wonder, how much did Irina know about Joseph using Hamon, you know? Because I guess even Joseph, you know, it wasn't until recently that he got formal training with it. He was just, you know, he just did what he did, you know? Like with like the, you know, the Coca-Cola bottle when he saved Smokey, you know? Man, it really sucks for Elizabeth that happened, you know? That even though she was avenging her husband's death, she was branded a traitor, you know, and a murderer. Man, that sucks. We can go ahead and hop into the notes on this one. The first thing I wrote down is JoJo versus Cars. Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, yeah, you know, it is still incredible what Joseph was able to do, you know, where he was using all the strength that he had, basically, to hold on to that rope so that Lisa wouldn't be impaled. And then, also, he had only a little bit of Hamon left, and he was fighting cars, you know? Like, that was crazy. And still, you know, he was able to best him, basically. And if it wasn't for the mask and the red stone, I think he would have, he would have won, you know? And it does sort of remind me, because, you know, this is obviously, you know, one of Joseph's grand plans that he pulls off, you know? But it does also kind of remind me of, it does also remind me of Jonathan versus Dio, where, you know, it's like, you know, when he, you know, sliced through Dio, and Dio froze him, but the way he did that, he made sure that the tip of the blade was in the flames, which allowed him to melt, got him free, and he used his hamon to hit Dio, you know? It did sort of remind me of that, you know? And now that's the thing, is that's kind of Joseph's whole thing. Joseph is the master planner, basically. Like, he always comes up with the plans, you know? So, that is Joseph at his best, you know? He's brilliant. He's brilliant in battle. Some of the rest of this stuff, he's kind of a dumbass, but whatever. Oh my gosh. The burning scarf was clever. I like that because it's like, okay, well, you know, it's a sense of urgency, you know? And it's like, he did just use that as a distraction, though, so that he could set up, you know, tying the ropes, which was pretty cool. So I did like that. And I like him tying both him and Lisa to cars. That was very clever. That was incredibly clever, being able to do that. So, and then going at what exactly though? What was the hit that he did? It was to his arm, I believe. Yeah. Oh, that's right. He sliced and he got through the bone blade and hit Car's arm, and that was allowing hamon to then flow through Car's body. So, which that's the thing. Like with Wamu, Cars would have died eventually if he didn't have the mask, you know? So that was clever. You know, even on his last ounce of energy, he was able to do that. Which, that's the thing, is last time, you know, you can honestly also compare this to the fight with San Viento, where, you know, JoJo could barely breathe. You know, he didn't have any control over his breathing or his hamon. And it was the combination of him and von Stroheim that they were able to defeat San Viento. But this time, JoJo was able to pull it off pretty much by himself. So, I did like, you know, Cars being impaled there, you know? So, that was pretty cool. And then we did get the backstory on Elizabeth and George Joestar. So, that was pretty cool. Which, George Joestar, I imagine they didn't call him JoJo. It's not, at least I would assume, you know, because the nickname JoJo does start with Jonathan, and then I think that it's only continued through Joseph, so I don't think George was a JoJo, technically. But that, I mean, is so sad. It was so sad to watch, you know? And I like, too, that, you know, even though George had no abilities of hamon or anything, but he went out and he was still, you know, fighting, you know? He was a pilot, which I really liked, you know? And I did like, you know, him being... I wonder if he honestly maybe took up the gentleman part, too, you know? Where Joseph is not a gentleman to any degree, but honestly, it's like, you know, I see a lot of Jonathan in George, and I really do like that, so yeah. So, we got that. I mean, it was honestly like a little weird when it's like, it flashed back. It's like, oh, here's Elizabeth with, baby Joseph. But it was a little weird because it's like, she looks no different. Because she's used hormone, to keep herself younger. She looks no different back then. Like back 20 years ago, I guess, at that point. So, like, she looks no different. It's kind of hilarious, actually. But yeah. So that was kind of funny. That is like, it goes back and it's like, oh, it's just Lisa. She looks exactly the same. I don't know. There's like a slight disconnect there, but it was all right. So yeah. So that was sad to see. And then, yeah, George did contact Speedwagon and Straightso about it, but it was too late and he was killed. And that's the thing too. It's like, it was one of Dio's zombies, It was one of Dio's zombies that got away and became a general, apparently, And then Elizabeth went and just killed him. But she wasn't careful about it, and everyone found out, and she was branded a traitor and a murderer. So she had to go on the run. And luckily, Speedwagon was able to, cover her tracks. And she just, moved to Italy and had to adopt the name Lisa. And I do like, with what they're saying, it's like, Irina didn't want Joseph to be a hormone user, Didn't want this to come up, or didn't want, him to know about hormone or anything like that because she didn't want to lose him, She lost her husband, like, a day after they got married. She lost her husband, she lost her son, she lost her sister, her daughter-in-law. Like, she lost too many people in her family to hormone and the trials that come with it. And she didn't want to lose Joseph. And that is really sad, And it's also sad because, yeah, honestly, Irina probably doesn't have a favorable view of hormone. She really didn't know what it was, honestly. She really wasn't a part of, Joseph's battle against Dio until the end, She didn't learn about all this stuff until the end when Jonathan died. So yeah, it's like it's just not good, man. You really feel for Irina, so. And then the last thing I wrote down was the stone mask. Oh, that. We all knew with how long they were dragging out. I was like, all right, Cars is going to get up. There's still 2 more episodes. He's not dead. But then I swear he literally pulled that mask in Redstone out of his own asshole and put it on, and now he is a super Pillar Man. Super Cars. Where now even hormone won't be able to kill him. So what do you do? We'll have to find out next time. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time for the final 2 episodes of Part 2. See you there. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, you can click on the playlist, you can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon, follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.